Hello paper crafters, I'm Sunny Sky, and today's card features the Sending Sunshine stamp set, and we're using a painter's tape or masking tape technique to create a beautiful sunset.
Today's card is a fun technique. We're going to do painter's tape or masking tape um, resist, and I'm going to stamp my sunset first onto the cardstock, and then I want to make sure that that sunset does not get dimmed by all the ink we're going to put on this piece of cardstock. So I've made a mask already, and I'm just going to put that over there. And I wasn't super careful with the cut. I didn't get all the lines covered, but close enough. And so I've got 3 colors of ink pads here. I've got Misty Moonlight, and I'm going to go ahead and start with the Misty Moonlight because that's below my sunset. And I'm simply putting this painter's tape over the ink pad, collecting ink, and then I'm going to put it on the cardstock, and I want to start this right where the sunset horizon line is. And I'm just pressing down to get that, transfer that ink to the cardstock. And then let me just peel up. And I'm going to save that tape because we're going to use the Misty Moonlight again. And then I'm going to go into the Wisteria Wonder. No, it's not Wisteria Wonder. It's Highland Heather. That's what it is. Wisteria Wonder is a little more pale than this. So Highland Heather, get that inked up, and I'm going to go right above the horizon line on that. And transfer the ink to the cardstock again, and then just peel gently away. And because this is painter's tape instead of masking tape, it doesn't stick as firmly to the cardstock. It makes it easier to get it off. Okay, and then I'm going to go with the Misty Moonlight again. I'm going to reuse that tape that I used the first time and get that inked up again, fresh ink on it. All right, and then we're going to go with some Night of Navy ink that I'm going to put above that Misty Moonlight. And then we're going to finish off with some Blackberry Bliss, and I'm going to put the Blackberry Bliss at the top and at the bottom of the cardstock here. And after you do this, you may want to trim this sheet down a little bit to smaller size. I have not bothered to do that, but you could do that if you don't like the way the edge looks with the ink sort of still on it. You can kind of see a distinct line where the ink stops. And then I'm going to do Blackberry Bliss again and get it on the bottom of the cardstock here for my final line of color. So we've added a lot of color pretty quickly on this card. And then I'm going to go ahead and peel off my mask here, and you can see our sunset peeking out there, being pretty vivid. And then we do want to have a sentiment on this card, so I have brought in the pumpkin pie again. And I'm going to get my sentiment stamped on here, and then we'll punch it out with a circle punch. So it doesn't matter if it's straight. And then I'm going to sponge the edge of it a little bit because this is a lot of white and we have a lot of color on the card, so I want to add just a little bit of color around the edge of our greeting here just to kind of mimic the boldness in the sunset itself. And we're also going to add some of this faux suede trim that we have in the catalog. I love this. It is so soft. And it's just kind of a fun color. So it doesn't really match specifically in one of our, I would say it's not early espresso. It's a little lighter than that, but it's kind of like early espresso. All right, I'm going to add a little adhesive on the back here. And let me see which way my words are going. And I'm just going to press that in, wind it back through, and then wind it back through again to the other side. And let me cut off the end. I'm going to let me do the same slant that's on the other side. There we go. And then to put it actually on the card, I'm going to get some dimensionals. And although we have the ribbon tacked on there with the adhesive, I'm going to use the dimensionals to kind of make sure the ribbon is very securely in place by overlapping the ribbon slightly as well as putting it on the cardstock there. And then take the backings off and finish up this greeting here. And this does go across the edges of the card a little bit. The ribbon sticks out, but I'm okay with that. All right, so the front of their card is basically done, and I haven't put it together for you. I have the original sample there where you're simply layering a larger piece on with pumpkin pie, with misty moonlight. Those are the colors that I chose, or any of the colors that would match the inks that you've chosen for your sunset. You might choose a pinker sunset. You might choose a more orangey sunset. And so whatever colors you're using, those are the colors that you're going to use on those background layers. So thank you for joining me today. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to the channel if you don't have a demonstrator. Shop on my website. But the most important thing is go have some fun crafting today and try out this technique.